My name is Nickel, Nickel, and these are 10 weird facts about One Punch Man. A lot of you probably know that One Punch Man was originally a webcomic that became a published manga and then an anime. One Punch Man is full of references and we'll cover a bunch of them here. This video is brought to you by Loot Crate, which is a monthly subscription service filled with a bunch of gaming and pop culture gear. Now let's kick this off starting with number 1. One Punch Man's main character is named Saitama, which has a bit more significance than you might think. Series creator One actually lives in the city of Saitama, which is possibly the reason for naming him that. At the start of episode 7 of the One Punch Man anime titled The Supreme Disciple, the scientists are studying the flight pattern of the meteorite that is about to strike City Z, and they show a world map while doing this. The supercontinent that takes up half of the globe is the exact same shape as Japan's Saitama Prefecture. The capital of the Saitama Prefecture is the city of Saitama. It all comes full circle. In the episode titled The Obsessive Scientist, Genos and Saitama go to the facility of Dr. Genos. The strongest of Dr. Genos' experiments in the House of Evolution is Carnage Kabuto, who in the manga is called Asura Rhino. When Carnage Kabuto goes into Carnage mode, this is a nod to EVA Unit 01 from Neon Genesis Evangelion, who also had an unstoppable rampage mode, which was known as Berserk mode. Carnage Kabuto is even colored and designed the same way when in Carnage mode with the green and purple as EVA Unit 01. Since the One Punch Man manga covers have an extended width, you might not have noticed that they were actually designed to be seen in 3D when they're folded. This is the first volume, but now folded over, which shows Genos coming around the corner of the building and seeing Saitama pop out of the side. Here's one that gives the impression that Saitama is in a clear tank of water, like he's in an aquarium. This one is Saitama looking over the edge of a building, and it actually feels like it has depth. This one's a 3D image of a camera phone and the gang in front of the camera. It's a pretty clever concept. A month before the One Punch Man anime began airing, the two lead voice actors, Furukawa and Ishikawa, were interviewed and they were asked what they had both been into lately. In case you don't know, Furukawa plays Saitama and Ishikawa plays Genos. Furukawa responded to this question simply by saying that he had been into checking out temples lately. But Ishikawa stated that he was interested in starving himself, to see how long he could go without eating. Here's what he said in his own words. Lately, I've been seeing how far I can go on an empty stomach. I suddenly start to wonder just how hungry I could possibly get. So I tried eating only one meal a day or telling myself I wasn't hungry even when I was. Doing things like that to test the limits of my hunger. The hoodie that Saitama wears from time to time that says the Japanese word opai on it actually translates to the word breasts. This makes sense since the drawing on the hoodie also resembles breasts. It's another example of a joke in One Punch Man based on redundancy, similar to the naming of Speedo Sound Sonic. Series creator One has been drawing manga since he was in grade school, but never showed anyone his work or even told anyone about it his entire school life. He said that while everyone else was into soccer or video games, he was afraid that he would seem uncool if he drew manga. Even though he had friends that read manga, he never actually met anyone that drew it themselves. Specifically, he had an interest in drawing gag manga from the very beginning. And a lot of gag manga is based on references, which is possibly one of the reasons why his work is full of them. His parents eventually found one of his gag manga called Middle-Aged Man and were very angry with him. And from that point forward, he chose that rather than being made fun of or getting rejected, it was better just to continue not showing anyone. One has said that he does manga as a hobby, which parallels Saitama saying that he is just a hero for fun, which may be a defense that one has built up over time for those that he believed might tear down his work. When he got to college, there were manga clubs, but he said that they didn't feel right, so he didn't enter them. He eventually chose instead to upload some of his work to mobile phone webcomic sites. Regarding his parents' reaction to his work, he said, "What hurt the most wasn't getting chewed out for goofing off. Rather, it was having something I loved to do be rejected." The Hero Association is an organization that manages the city's heroes. Saitama, Genos, and many of the other heroes are registered with them. If you paid close enough attention, you may have already connected the dots on this one, but for those of you that haven't, Saitama is the reason the Hero Association was even created. Remember back when Saitama still had hair, he saved a bald-chinned kid that drew nipples on a crab monster? The grandfather of that kid is Agoni, who is a multi-millionaire and is also bald-chinned. After hearing that a stranger had saved his grandson from a mysterious being, Agoni founded the Hero Association and the National Superhero Registry with his private funds. You can even see Saitama open a flyer about the association and see a photo of Agoni and his enormous chin. So the entire organization that Saitama is trying to climb his way up through the ranks only exists because of him. They just didn't know that Saitama was the anonymous hero that saved the bald-chinned grandchild. Mind freak. The studio behind the One Punch Man anime is Madhouse, who have created and helped produce a ton of anime including Ninja Scroll, Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, Trigun, Death Note, Beyblade, and even Hunter x Hunter, which is linked further in One Punch Man's opening. Saitama has a Super Move Serious series, and he does his Serious Strike from that series at the end of the opening, but the way that he does it is a parody or a reference to Gon's signature move Rock from Hunter x Hunter. He performs it the same way with his left hand over the right. In the first episode of the anime, there is a monster called Vaccine Man. Vaccine Man is a direct reference to Piccolo and the Namekians from Dragon Ball. The Dragon Ball connection goes further when you consider the fact that the same person that voiced Frieza also voices Vaccine Man. Towards the end of the first season, Lord Boros is revealed, which may be yet another reference to Dragon Ball, but this time a nod at the Super Saiyan's transformation aesthetic. Initially, Boros has relatively shorter spiky hair like a Super Saiyan, but once he transforms, his hair grows like a Super Saiyan 2. And his final transformation changes his hair to strongly resemble a Super Saiyan 3's hair, which becomes radically longer. In the manga, Saitama wears a Mob Psycho 1 million sweater here. Mob Psycho 100 is another manga that one makes. Both manga reference one another several times. In Mob Psycho 100, Rain has a photo of Saitama in his phone. On a side note, Saitama himself is a reference to Anpan Man, who is also bald and has the same colors, they're just in reverse. In fact, in One Punch Man, there's another hero that resembles Anpan Man as well called Smile Man, who even has a smiley logo on his chest. One Punch Man was originally used as a way for one to begin practicing using Comics Studio, which is manga creating software. He did this during the time that he decided to move on from uploading only on mobile phone webcomic sites. One Punch Man quickly gained popularity online, but in February of 2010, during that period of growth, One decided to get a job for a year, which meant that One Punch Man would be on hold during that time. He said this was necessary due to family matters. His plan was to save up as much money as possible and then quit, so that the following year he could draw manga for 365 days non-stop, and if that didn't lead anywhere, he said that he would give up. At the end of that 1 year period, One tweeted, "I'm thinking of quitting my job to become a manga artist, but my peers are stopping me." When talking about this tweet later on, he said, "In my mind it was already decided, but because my peers were against it, I was starting to wonder what I should do." That was when Mr. Murata contacted me. Yusuke Murata, the artist behind iShield 21, had discovered One Punch Man over a year prior and had become a fan. When One tweeted that his peers were stopping him from returning to manga, Yusuke Murata immediately contacted him to work together despite being bound to a contract with Shonen Jump. One was already a fan of Murata's work, which is why they began to work together. This is what ultimately led to the One Punch Man manga that was printed, which is a more professionally drawn version of the original webcomic. The final fact is that you can have your very own superpower, but the thing is that the superpower is randomized and it's completely useless. So far, the best useless superpowers that I've seen are being invisible when no one's looking at you and being immune to every third bullet. So, if you feel lucky, one punch the like button to see which superpower you got and how useless it is. Let me know down below in the comments what you got and how you used it. My name is Nickel, and I hope you got a good useless superpower, if that's even possible. If you haven't seen yet, the channel has officially hit 200,000 subscribers, which is crazy because it feels like we just hit 100,000. So thank you sincerely to everyone that has shared a video or even just left a like on a video. It is very, very much appreciated. If you watched the last video, you probably already know that I was going to be heading to Sweden, and as you can see by this very Swedish backdrop, I am now currently in Sweden. And I think there was a bit of confusion about whether or not I was moving here. I'm not moving here. Just like I said in the last video, I'll be here for a few weeks before I head back to the good old US of A. But if you want to see my day-to-day adventures of my life here in Sweden right now, you can go over to my Twitter, which is linked down below in the description. I've been posting lots of videos and photos basically every day since I've been here. So if you're interested in that, you can go check it out on Twitter. But now, let's talk loot crates. The theme of this month's loot crates is the invasion crates, and some of the items that will be included will be from X-Files, Space Invaders, The Fifth Elements, and my favorite, Alien. And it's not just only those things, there's other sci-fi stuff in there as well. And one of the items is going to be a t-shirt, and one of them will be a Funko Pop, which are those figurines that have the enormous heads that people love to collect. But if you want to get your own invasion crates, head over to lootcrate.com/onickel and use the code ONICKEL if you want to save yourself 10%. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video, unless you want to come to Twitter and see Sweden stuff. Then I'll see you on Twitter. Bye, guys.